it's one of those things you just kind of just draw your lines really strict, really tough for yourself, which I guess for people personality wise can be really difficult. Because a lot of people who deal with like serious gambling issues.
Yeah, so
Like
gambling
people
addiction.
lose lives and people die and
You know, I started a foundation like a year and a half ago for this.
no.
Yeah. So it's in my Instagram bio. It's called Shaken Hearts on Instagram. So what we did about a year and a half ago is we created a foundation where anybody who struggles with gambling addiction, drug addiction, alcoholism, or mental health like depression or anxiety sends a DM to Shaken Hearts and totally for free, zero cost, will find the best treatment solution for them.
That's dope.
Yeah. Been doing
That's
that for
huge.
about a year and a half.
That's amazing, man. Because like it is one of those things that it's like it's so easy to say don't do it, but I do it. Even I say don't do it, and I do it.
Even like drugs, same deal. Like everyone knows don't do drugs, but obviously everyone does. You know, everyone does drugs anyway.
So having outlets like that's super important. Do you have anything else like that, or where did that come from? That because you were just like you knew that.
Well, yeah.
Like,
So
do you know any gamblers who've like?
of course, yeah, of course. And I attended GA because I wanted to know, am I a gambling addict? This is a long time ago. When I first was when I was making money in business, I started gambling a lot. And sometimes I lost rent money. I'm like, I lost my whole company's money one time, and I had to like, it was a whole thing. It was
What
like
business was this?
I owned treatment centers and pharmacies.
Okay.
So there were times where I like lost the company's money. I lost my rent money. Like, you know, I was like a degenerate gambler with no like real edge. I just love to gamble.
Yeah.
So like when my life changed and I started winning and blah, 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 I like knew this was a problem. How it actually happened was with famous decks. So, you know, I don't know if you know this. I don't drink. I don't drug. I don't say curse words. I don't drink sugar. I don't eat sugar. I don't drink caffeine. I don't go to strip clubs. I don't make transactions for sex. I don't eat
You only
porn,
have
fast
one massive thing that is affecting your dopamine. It's gambling.
Gambling, and I vape. That's it.
Fair. Nicotine.
Yeah.
Nicotine is a
Yeah,
cool
but I
one.
did quit cigarettes though. I quit cigarettes.
Cigarettes. But I don't know why you do that. Like, because I feel like, you know, like if that's a way too, though, no?
Yeah, I'm not perfect. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, when I quit, I smoked cigarettes starting really young. I was like a pack a day smoker. I smoked Newport Shorts, you know, pack a day for a really long time. And I was like randomly one day, I was like, I wonder if I can control my cigarette intake. I was like, I'm gonna go 5 cigarettes a day. And I just bought a pack, and my homie pulled it to my house. I went on the drive, and we started talking. At the end of the conversation, I realized I smoked my whole day's worth of cigarettes. I smoked 5 cigarettes in that conversation. And I was like, dang. I was like, I wonder, can I go the rest of the day without smoking? And I paused and I go, screw it. I wonder if I can quit. I quit. And then right when I said I quit cigarettes, I go, and I quit sugar in the exact same moment. I walk inside. I told my boy I was inside my house. I go, yo, I just quit smoking. He goes, no, you didn't. I go, yeah. He goes, give me the rest of your cigarettes. Threw him the pack, never smoked again. 2 months goes by. I just want to know if I had the willpower. It wasn't the cost of cigarettes, wasn't the smell, wasn't the taste, was definitely not for the health. I love smoking cigarettes. I just want to know if I can do it. 2 months goes by, and there's a bunch of people at my house, and I'm like, this is whack. I love cigarettes. I go on my front porch. I'm like, yo, someone give me everybody had like whack cigarettes, like Marlboro Reds and Parliaments. And I'm like, none of this is worth it, you know? But one homie came out with a vape, and he was like, yo, just hit the vape. And this back in the day, and the big mods, big clouds, and all that, all that stupid stuff. I hit his vape one time. My cigarette drones went away. And just like that, I was like, I guess I vape now. I've been vaping ever since.
I feel like there's other though. It's not.
Yeah, probably.
Everything's killing us anyways.
Yeah, everything's killing us. I've been trying to die my whole life.
I feel like that's what we do, though. I feel like not that you need to do these things, but like we're all. I mean, it is true. It's an undeniable fact. We're all dying anyways. It's like kind of pick what you really want to die with, you know, or die from. I guess it's an interesting thing. The life thing's weird, man. What do you think like gambling and like winning a ton of money and losing a ton of money has taught you about yourself? You seem like a very obviously to be able to do what you've done, a very smart individual.
Don't give me too much credit, but
no, you do. You do seem, even just the way you speak, not even just about the gambling, the fact you're able to win so much money. What do you think it's taught you, like having these super highs about yourself, or just about people?
First of all, anything is possible. Everything that's ever been done, they would say that couldn't be done until it was done. Every single time. This helped me really see it. Right? Like I did things that while I'm doing it, people told me I couldn't do. They're like, that's not possible. And I'm like, well, I'm doing it. Like, what do you, you know, let's have a conversation about this. I'm doing it. What do you mean it's not possible? And that helped me a lot. You know, it like really pushed more mental bounds that I had created myself or community created for me or just society created. It helped me understand that those bounds are way further. Those goalposts of where the limit is way further than I thought. And I thought I was open-minded.
our minds, that's the thing people really, I was having a conversation with, on this pod with Lane Norton, really smart in the physical to body space. And he was saying how like supplements and all these things in general, like there's like, you know, the placebo effect of things.
Yeah.
Literally because you believe you're getting something, you receive, just because you think you're getting it, you receive a benefit from it. Like because your mind is going, this could be this thing, or I'm thinking
it's
this
attainable.
is
You
not
now
even just
believe it's
attainable, even just literally like, okay, so for example, I gave you 2 pills. Okay. One was like, let's say Anavar, right? Which is a testosterone. It's a steroid, right? It's not testosterone, it's a steroid. You take another pill that doesn't have it, and you believe both pills have it, and you take the one that doesn't have it. Just taking the thing that doesn't have it will make your mind think like, whoa, I'm receiving something that I think it is, even if it was never, because let's say they just gave you an empty capsule, and you would feel and elicit a response that would be related to actually taking that thing because your mind believes that you are, which is an insane concept.
I don't think it's that insane because, you know, we only use 10% of our brain consciously. So I think a lot of that 10% comes from the boundaries we've created ourselves. And I think a higher being or community of people, I'm not going to use the word Illuminati, but I think there's been a directive and a narrative that's been being controlled and created for a very long time to help limit the percentage of conscious brain we use, while some of them maybe use more.
100% I believe that. And this even goes down to like, I was having the same conversation with him about injuries where like, if you have an injury, it's like an injury, the pain from an injury can only last for so long. Your perception of it being there is the thing that starts to limit you further on, where you're like, oh, I have this knee pain or I have this back pain. But like, it only lasts for so long, like an actual literal injury. But then your brain will tell you that like, oh, but be careful. So then you don't do the things that you could do just because your brain has convinced you that you're going to get hurt or re-injure, et cetera. But that's not even the case. So the mind is just like literally physically affecting us in so many ways. So it's interesting you talk about that, because I think for sure that's a reality. And especially now with today's the world and the way how insane, like just politically and societally is, the world is just so nuts, and how everyone is attacking everyone else. But it's definitely, it would make sense that, you know, the people with all the power or all the control or whatever group, you know, we're not saying Illuminati, but like group of people with all the control and power probably have a more closer understanding of like how actually powerful it is.
Yeah.
So that's all the things you said, which is really funny and ironic about, you know, the casino and them putting certain lines so you continue and like unconsciously, subconsciously, you're doing these things. Yeah. The same thing is like, it's probably being orchestrated on a large scale in media, and it has been for a long time.
Of course.
But it's like, I feel though too, a lot more people are starting to wake up.
But they're also not doing anything about it. For example, everybody knows TikTok is making us stupid. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
You still use TikTok?
Not. I stopped. I have someone who posts for me.
What? I stopped.
Thank God. Thank God.
I haven't opened TikTok in a year.
I can't, dude. It's like dude. I've had moments where I've looked at TikTok and I literally felt like I was scrolling, and then to get off, I feel like I'm like leaving this portal, like pulling it away from myself. It's such a weird feeling, like energetically, where I'm like, well, I was just sucked into this and I had to like pull myself out of it.
Yeah.
And it sounds silly. It sounds like, what are you talking about? You just turn the phone off. But it is real, dude.
Yeah. And if they, right, wanted to help us, who's a part of they, it would just stop letting TikTok be a thing, for example.
Yeah.
It would just stop letting TikTok exist. But instead they're pushing it.
Yeah. Well, remember that one point they were saying they were gonna cut it off, and do you remember all that?
Yeah, that was a Trump thing, and I think Trump was doing the highest stakes gambling in history. And I'm not even in here to say my opinion on Trump, but I think if people took a step back and saw what he was really doing, you would have to respect the maneuver he made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think he's really doing? What do you mean?
I think all right, so people were coming out saying Trump talks mean on Twitter, and he said grab her by the pussy, I don't know, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think what was happening, I related it to my life. When I play $250,000 a hand in Baccarat, you can come up to me. I love how
you relate this to gambling. It's so sick.
Well, I think that's what he was doing.
I love this.
Yeah. Don't forget, he owned casinos, right?
Yeah.
If you came up to me in the middle of me gambling with, you know, call I had $10 million on the table, I'm playing $250,000 a hand. Anybody, even you, can come up and say anything to me. I will subconsciously give you a response. I have no idea what I said. I probably didn't mean it. I didn't even hear it. And I had no memory that you even came up to me, because I'm so hyper-focused on the highest stakes of my life that, like, some girl wants to come over. Mikki, can we go shopping later? Yeah, sweetie, whatever you want me to say to just get you away from me. I'm busy. right?
Yeah.
So Trump's over there gambling with the highest stakes in the world. And people are like, what do you think about this? And he goes, yeah, I don't know. I like him. And then it comes out in the media, oh, Trump said he liked this bad group. And Trump's probably thinking to himself, I didn't even know you asked me that question.
Yeah.
I'm busy talking about creating World War III over TikTok because I know it's ruining my community.
Yeah. It's man, it's such a weird, there's so much to say about this stuff. It's like without getting so deep into it, but I just find it weird as I've gotten older, or maybe it's just because of the internet and like when you could see everything and like really look at it for what it is, like how, I don't know how mindless people have become to just like arguing with each other about all these certain topics. And it's all creating the same thing. It's still creating the divide. It's still like, whether or not you believe this or like him or like that or like whatever, it seems like it's just this giant vortex of like nonsense to keep people just
well, they want the idiots staying idiotic. They want you guys running. They want the world running in circles.
Yeah.
So distracted with grab her by the pussy and Jeffrey Epstein and nonsense. So they're like, keep these guys out of our business. Keep them busy with stuff that doesn't matter.
What about the Jeffrey Epstein thing? Do you think that's not real? Because like that's a crazy thing.
Okay. I want to preface by saying I could not be any further from any portion of supporting or not being sympathetic to victims of pedophilia, molestation, sexual assault.
Worst thing in the world. We should kill those motherfuckers.
Agreed. Completely. Agreed. I want to preface by saying that. Like I couldn't be any further, against that.
By the way, before you continue, I saw a clip. I swear to God, it has to be fake. I go on the internet and I go on Twitter. I go on Twitter nowadays and I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, this has to be fake. I saw a woman sitting behind, it must have been not a reporter, but a woman speaking to like some news outlet. I don't even know what it was, talking about how like, oh, these people are being like persecuted for like their sexual orientation. And she's speaking about being persecuted for pedophilia as if like it's a justifiable act because that's their sexual orientation, which is insane. I thought it was fake.
Yeah, there's a new term now that they use. You can't call them. Hold on. I can call anybody anything I want. Let me just start with that.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, hell yeah.
The media, the liberal media, is trying to say that you shouldn't call pedophiles the word pedophile. You should call them. There's like a stupid politically correct term now. It's like age desensitive. There's like a word. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. There's a term. I forget what it is. So idiotic. But again, I think they're just. I don't think anybody believes that.
Yeah,
I've never met a person who approached me and goes, you know what, Mikki? I don't want you to call me a pedophile. I want to sleep with children, but I don't like the name pedophile. I've never had that conversation.
It's the reason why it's just the most idiotic thing you could ever even sort of like justify is because it's like you're talking about a grown adult like doing something with a growing adult that doesn't know any better or know really where they're at, that should be okay. That's an insane thing. There's no like
and the chain of events of damages that come from that child when he grows up, the trauma.
It's like why have age? It's like if you're going down that logic, it's like then the furthest blown of that is like why was there ever 18 to be in war or 21 to drink? Like why do we have any of these sort of like structural things in society that if you're gonna say that's okay, it's like what the is happening?
Yeah, I think it's all fake.
It's bull.
It is,
but it's like but. To say, so, okay, when you say that and I say this and I go, yeah, of course it's fake. But then there's this random lady saying it and I'm like, does she believe it's real? Or does someone go, yo, talk about this on the internet?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think every piece of media we consume is staged actors, 100%.
I mean, when you see like the whole during the COVID thing, it was all like, they're saying random, every news outlet saying the same exact thing in a different way.
Yep.
And then they were saying this thing about like, I think recently it was like the Biden saying something and then everyone was like talking about his like mental health or whatever the was. And then every news outlet was like, they said the same sort of like adjective to describe how
exact same intro. You could put 30 of them on the same monitor and they all have the same script.
But it's like, how do people even fall for it at this point?
Yeah. I think that we've been conditioned generationally to believe by default that what we're always being told by the larger entity is always going to be correct.
Yeah.
I think that's another mental construct that the higher entity has built for us.